Hello, YouTube people. What's going on? Um, so a couple of years ago, I decided to put myself through a transformation. Now, you can either choose to transform and heal from a situation, or just keep going the way you're going and never really, come out of that. You're just running around in circles and, going nowhere in life, basically. I mean, if that's the way you want your life, then go right ahead. But I didn't want to do that. So I decided that I was going to transform, die of myself and become a better self of me. And I started, on my path to doing so. And I really didn't even want to come out of that. I just wanted to stay with that, because what is the point, What is the point in remaining the same and same and same? So through this transformation, I decided to go back in time. I went all the way back to my childhood, and I can remember friends of mine that were really not even my friends, okay? I called them my friends because back then I didn't know any better, They were friends. But if I was to accept them now as friends, I could say earnestly that I didn't even learn anything in this last couple of years. I didn't learn nothing at all because they were not my friends. They left me hanging. They even went as far as to getting me in little bits of trouble here and there. And, to what extent? I mean, why would I even consider myself being a friend to somebody like that? But I did. So I go back. And then I go through all these years and look to see the types of friends that I have accepted as friends my whole life. And I really don't have good, solid friends. I do have people that I associate myself with now that I can truly call myself a friend to. But back during that time, I was not accepting people the right way. It's like Jermaine. Jermaine is who he is, okay? He'll do what he can for me, and I'm grateful for that. But he also talks behind my back, and I know that, okay? And that's why him and I can't be friends like that. We have to be like distant type friends. We're not like associates to that level, okay? I've done things with him. We've gone to different places, this, that, and the other thing. But when it's all said and done, he goes his way and I go mine. And that's how it is. But, I've noticed that through all this transformation, the people that are with me and the people that are not with me, I've noticed it, There's some people that I just wish I never put even the slightest little bit of effort into. And that goes for exes also, but I'm talking about friends right here. Because, you spend more time with friends than you do with people you might call an ex or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I've had exes for a couple of years here and there, but some of these friends I've considered friends since I was a child. And you know how old I am now. So, I mean, it really is weird how things are. But it's truly this way. You should never, ever, ever carry somebody around for a long time that's really stabbing you in the back every chance that they get. Anytime your back is turned to them, know this. They are putting a knife right in your back. And a couple of people that I called myself a friend to, they've done this my whole life, you know. They weren't really true friends at all. Look, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, growing up in Castleberry, I lived next door to two people. If you're in my house, looking on the left-hand side would have been Thomas Elsey. He was a year younger than me. And then on the right side was Billy Atkinson, right? Which is the best of the two evils? I couldn't tell you. Now, Thomas and I had a falling out when we were young, like, I don't know, 11, 12. And we never did hang out again. And kudos to him. Hey, love you. See you later. Don't want to be you. All this. Billy and I, however, we carried on until, you know, I was in my early 20s. And then I moved up here to Georgia and quick, it was all done. Okay? But Billy was truly not my friend too. Okay? We went down to International Drive. I had bought a shirt in this specialty store, okay? It was a black shirt with white lettering and white numbers and things like that. It was a real cool shirt. He wanted to borrow it. Okay, I wasn't big on letting people borrow my clothes, okay? And I had just bought it. You know, I was working, I'm making good money. I bought this shirt. It was like $40, $50. I let the guy borrow the shirt, right? So somehow or another, I don't remember why or how, but we ended up splitting up. I went to go see a girl or something down on International Boulevard where Wet and Wild is, and there's a lot of restaurants down there, Ripley's Believe It or Not, just anything and everything down there. And it circles around, goes through Kissimmee, and then it goes over to Disney World. Okay, so anyways, I go to meet with this girl, you know, and he just goes off. So the night goes by, and there's like a little, I don't know, it's kind of like a fair type of place, you know. They got bumper rides on water and all these games, big old game room, and just anything and everything over there. And I went over there with this girl, okay? So along comes Billy, right? My whole shirt is ripped up with him in it. And I said, what happened to my shirt? Oh, this guy started a fight with me. I said, well, you're going to have to pay me for that shirt. I didn't rip it. What do you mean you didn't rip it? It doesn't matter. You borrowed it from me. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is that a friend? I don't think so. If you borrow something from somebody, right? Shouldn't you be the one responsible for getting it back to that person in the same shape that they gave it to you in? And then, okay, so Billy again. I had let him borrow like 4 cassette tapes, right? So about 30, 40 days go by and I ask for them back. Oh, I can't get them back for you. You'll have to ask my dad. I gave them to my dad. Now, why will you give somebody else's property to your dad? Why would you do that? Does that make any sense to you? No, it doesn't to me. But he did that. Now, what kind of friend is that that'll do that to you? Will a friend truly do that kind of stuff to you? I don't think so. I really don't. And so that's what I'm getting at. Even though I was neighbors with him and I considered himself a friend to me, he always did things like this. Like I told you that time we went to that International Drive, the same place. I pulled into that Shell's place and that cop came right over to my car. Now, Klaus knew that that cop was coming, and I did too. So that meant Billy did also. Billy consciously stayed in the car with me, even though he was underage. He could have got up and got out of the car just like Klaus did, and that whole issue with that would have been done. I would have just had to pour the alcohol out in the street and be done with that, okay? Because truly, I mean, I didn't have no alcohol on my breath. I just had pulled into the place. Now, I did open the beer, okay? So they could have gotten me for an open container. But I didn't drink any of it, so I wasn't drunk. I just had an open container in the car. And that's all he could have held me on. But I ended up, I could have, if he was a butthead, I could have ended up with like 3 felony charges and 2 misdemeanors. But I didn't. But that's what I'm saying. Klaus, he wasn't even really a good friend of mine. I just knew him because of Billy. Klaus got up and got out of my car just that fast, and the cop didn't even get a chance to question him. Didn't ask him who he was or nothing. Klaus got out before he got even close to my car. The cop. Billy could have done the same thing. Him and Klaus could have got up out of my car, and that would have been 2 charges right there that I wouldn't have even, quote unquote, gotten charged with. Although I didn't get charged with him, I am thankful for that. But I'm just saying, that goes to show you what type of friend that Billy truly was. And that goes for a couple of other guys that I hung out with in high school and back during my younger years than that. The same people. Same people always. Hung out with all these guys, and they were up to no good, That's what put me in those positions that I got in trouble. But, it is lucky that I was protected, because I could have been hurt in any of those situations that I told you about before in my past. But what I'm trying to get at is they were all fake friends. They were only with me to use me to some certain degree. And that was all it was. Billy, borrowing my shirt. Oh, you need to go find the guy that got in a fight with me and try to get your money back for your shirt. Who does that? Truly, who does that kind of stuff? I need to find the guy that you got in a fight with to get my money back for my shirt that I loaned to you? That's craziness. Or I need to go next door to your house and talk to your dad about giving my cassette tapes back that I loaned to you? And that's just the way he always was. But that's no kind of friend. It's not. Who does that kind of stuff? Not me. I would never do that. If I ever borrowed anything from you and didn't return it, I would be paying you money for whatever it was, or give you that product back. I definitely wouldn't have gave it to my dad or had a fight with somebody and just said, oh, well, you need to find that person and get them to pay you back for that. That's craziness. It truly is craziness. But that's just how it is. And that's how fake friends are. Fake friends will always leave you holding the bag. Always. Fake. Nothing but fake. But during this transformation, it not only helped me with my exes, but it helped me with my fake friends. My friends that would say, oh, I'm his friend. I'm his friend till the end. I'll stick with him through thick and thin. I'll do this for him. I'll do that for him. I was the one doing things for people. Mike and I and Heath, right? We got on a bus, okay? And Heath and I got off of this bus when we got to this particular stop, right? And we beat the living crap out of these two guys that was picking on Mike. They were bullying him all through school. They were bullying him like you wouldn't believe. And 2 years later, Mike was bigger than us. And he could have protected us from anybody. But during that time, Mike was a little guy. Okay? And we got off of the bus and we whooped both of these guys' behinds. Okay? We whooped them like they didn't even have a mother and father. We whooped them badly. Okay? But I did this for him. Did he ever do something like that for me? No. It's sad what happened to Mike, but it was after I was already gone. You know, Heath and I, we split up, and Mike and I also. And Mike, he got into harder drugs. He started stealing his mother's stuff. And next thing I hear, he's stolen his mom's junk. And he went on some kind of drug rampage and drove off an embankment, and the Blazer he was driving landed on top of him and killed him. And that was it. That's all I heard. I was already up here in Georgia, and he was down there. And, you know, Heath told me about it. You know, I don't know. I wasn't trying to be any kind of badness to anybody. I heard about it, moved on from there. But that's what I'm saying. I always went to the lengths for people like that, and they never did for me. Thomas Elsey, okay? Hey, he has this dip, right? The dip you put in your mouth, right? So he soaks it in Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, or whatever. And he gave me some. I got up in this tree and just about fell out and broke my leg and my arm and everything else. You know, for what? For what? Tommy Thompson, we used to hang out together. Good guy, really is. But, you know, whatever became of that, I don't know. Tommy, really, he wasn't a bad guy. People gave him a bad reputation or whatever, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad guy at all. But some of these guys, they were just not worth it to me, okay? Just not at all. I hung out with them, yes. But it was only because there wasn't anybody else to hang out with. What am I going to hang out with? Some girl? Faith Otto? No. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. And Faith and her mother and father and brother and sister, they all moved away. Like, I guess she would have been like 11 or 12, and they moved away. I didn't see them again. I babysat them, and Faith was only a year younger than me. But her mother and father didn't trust in her, so they called me. I babysat Marie. I babysat for the least, Tammy and Gary. I babysat for a lot of them, and I wasn't maybe 3 years older than any of them. I wasn't, but, you know, it is what it is. I did what I did, but, you know, I was more of a responsible person, and their parents saw that in me, and they allowed me to come into their home and babysit for their kids, you know. I did for like 6 or 7 families on my street. You know? Yeah, I'm the guy, but, you know, like I said, I was more responsible, and they felt like they could trust me a lot more than they could trust their own children. Which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Anyways, I decided that I was going to talk about haters that I've had in my past, and, you know, there's just so many haters out here that even people that I meet these days, if you don't just add up to being worth my time, I just have no time for you. You know? I don't have time for you. Yeah, you could be an acquaintance of mine, that's fine. I'll hold you as an acquaintance. Hey, how you doing? And keep it moving. Because that's it. That's all the worth that I have for you. That's all that I have for you. But, you know, as far as friends are concerned, it's just really hard to find a really good friend out here. One that you can put your trust into and they can trust you right back the same way. It is. It's really difficult. Sorry to say, but it's really, really, really difficult. Anyways, I hope that everybody has a good night, a good day. I want you to know that I love you, love yourself, love God, and by all means love each other, people. Until the next time, love, peace, and soul.